Eyup cock. It's not been a good weekend. I feel 6-2 my stomach, you know. Okay, Championship first. There were a Friday night game. It was Blackburn 0, Middlesbrough 2. I'll touch on that very quickly because it does feel like a year ago when you look at Friday night games now. Middlesbrough, if they'd have been a little bit more clinical, could have had this to bed very early in second half. I thought in second half Blackburn were quite good, in fairness. 2-0 does slightly flatter Middlesbrough because especially in second half, like I said, thought Blackburn could have scored if they were a little bit more ruthless in front of goal. But they did leave them sent open a lot. Because they're just chasing game, aren't they? Like I said, second half, they're chasing game non-stop, leaving the defence wide open. If Middlesbrough had made better decision making, especially like Finn's eyes, because he was being a little bit greedy. Don't be greedy. It could have been all that game, to be honest with you. Quite good for a neutral, I'd imagine. I enjoyed watching that game. Blackburn next year could be a problem, to be honest. And Middlesbrough, as far as I'm concerned, if Michael Carrick does not get these in top 6, he should never manage again. Just go and put your feet up, mate, and live your life. Do not step footy management again if you don't get that squad at top 6, because they've got some serious players in that team. Saturday, wow, some of these half 12ers really give me hope for a great day, and it just went downhill. Coventry won Burnley 2 to start with. Not going to lie, I expected a draw, as you've seen in my championship prediction. This is one of the only ones I got wrong, by the way. If I'd have been betting on championship this week, I'd have been balling out. But yeah, I did expect a draw here. Coventry, once again, really proving that they just can't hack it against good sides. They win the majority of everything else. The only not top side that they've not beaten is Derby since Lampard has come in. Everything else, all these like Wednesdays, Prestons, Oxford, Stokes, they beat all of them. But then you look at like Leeds loss, Ipswich loss, Sheffield United loss, Burnley loss. They were a little bit more in this game than they have the other ones, because against Sheffield United they offered nothing. Leeds and Ipswich they got battered really, start to finish. They were up for it a little bit here, but you've always got. It's just the defensive side for Burnley that they've always got over you. Esteve has got a lot of plaudits in this defence, and rightfully so, because he is the best defender in the league by an absolute mile. Probably one of the best players, if not best player in the league. But Egan Riley as well. Man, that guy's a baller. And then Trafford it net behind him. The core of this team, the spine of Burnley's side, is it any surprise, really, when you scroll down there like recent fixtures, why they've not lost in league? That's in Cup to Preston. They've not lost in league. You've got to keep clicking see. Oh, I didn't know it that good. The 3rd of November were the last league loss away at Millwall. I'm not going to say it. In fact, I'm going to say something in 2 seconds. Let me get out next fixture and then I'm going to say something. I do probably still think Coventry get in. Just based on the fixtures that they've got coming up, Coventry, I do think they will still get in. I would. Do I actually? It could be. It's very close. Either way, as long as Wednesday don't get in, I'm not bothered. Regardless, even if Coventry do get in, this is what I'm going to say. I don't think they'll go up anywhere through playoffs because, like I've just said, they're not good enough against your top sides. They'll lose to them all 24/7. Next season might be a good one for them. And like I've said for a long time as well, I think Sunderland won't go up this year. I think they'll be up there big time next year. Especially when 2 of the 3 sides coming down you think are going to be in quite a mess, like Leicester and Southampton. Maybe it gives an opportunity to like a Sunderland or a Coventry to really go for it big time, because I don't think they will go up this year. Burnley, though, I mean, looking at 2 teams you're going up against, I'm going to start waving my Burnley flag. This is what I want to look at. I still think Leeds will win league. I just want to get that out there now. That's what I'm about to say about Burnley, because there's a little bit of the realistic side of my brain that thinks Burnley will win it now. However, to keep jinxing Leeds, I'm going to keep saying that Leeds are going to win it. So I think they'll win every game for the rest of the year and probably break points record Leeds, if it's even possible anymore. I don't think it is. I got this bang on though. Little pat on back for me. To be fair, when I was looking at all half 12ers, I did not think it were going to be favourites day. I was obviously proved wrong with majority of them apart from this one. Luton have hit a little bit of form at a good time now. Especially, like, we'll go and look at bottom of table quickly. They are still second bottom. Everybody down here is getting points constantly. Like, only Derby lost out of all these sides that are in some sort of serious scrap. But they're picking up points nicely recently. Defensively tightened up quite a lot. And it's always going to be an hard game for Leeds, this, because Luton are going to make it scrappy and horrible for you and not give you amount of freedom that you want and the time and space on a pitch as small as Luton's got, with Crowder just on top here. From the odd bit that I saw, I think Leeds could have won it, couldn't they? And I forgot who had a really big chance late on. But Leeds could have definitely won it if they'd have been a little bit more clinical at end. And dropping Melier has probably got him a point, to be fair, because I wouldn't have been surprised if he'd have just thrown it in his own net and get Luton win. But yeah, Joy Division... That's my ringtone at the minute. That's the only thing that I can cling on to maybe give me a little bit of joy from 24-25. Because other than that, it's been a wank year for football for me. Baggies 0, Sunderland 1. Not pretty at all. But I love that. From a Sunderland point of view, a side that I have questioned a lot of this year if they've got the ability to like dig in and grind something out like this. I'm loving the way these stats are looking. I'm loving it. They've dug in. They've got their hands dirty for once, which is what I don't think Sunderland have got from it. Maybe it is just because it's a young squad, and I keep coming back to that. But they've got their hands dirty and they've grafted for summer away at a place that's very hard to go and win it. If we look at the home form of West Brom, that's the third home loss all season. But it again makes me quite annoyed when you look at some of the other sides at top of league, especially Leeds, and maybe more recently Sheffield United, that are dropping points a little bit more consistently. If these ones have had the foot off gas, Sunderland could have done it. Is it too late? 8 points. Yeah, 100% it's too late now. They've got the exact same amount of points in the last 5 as Sheffield United. If you, oh God, like drawing it home to Preston, getting battered away at Coventry. Like, come on, boys, you could have done it for me. It could have been Burnley, Sunderland, and I'd have been gassed. Big win though. Big old win. Settles my nerves a little bit. I'm not even bothered about what Sunderland fans think. From my point of view, I'm thinking these could do it now. Because West Brom are the sort of side that you're going to be going up against in playoffs at this sort of level anyway. This might be a playoff game. And if you can go to a place like this, graft, keep a clean sheet, do what you need to do, go and get 3 points and come back, that bodes well for the playoffs. Still don't think they'll go up though. Bristol City 2, Watford 1. I got this one bang on as well. Knowledge. Everybody calm down though. It might be the one. This might be the one where Bristol City do it. Don't want to jinx them. And seriously, out of all these sides, I want Bristol City to go up most. Out of all of them, apart from Millwall and Burnley. And probably Sunderland to then make shit. I don't know. They've not done anything best part of a decade. This is the one, boys. Come on. Beating a side that's got absolutely no to play for. Watford have got the feet up. Don't care. Taking foot off, guys. Not our side of the now. They're just going to see it out, take the money, move on. You need that. You need that because you can get complacent against them sort of sides, can't you? Everybody can. When there's no pressure on a side like Watford now, they can just come and rock up and play how they want, be a bit more relaxed, just try and take a man on, and it might spark a little bit of something, I think, sometimes when you're playing sides that have got no to play for at this stage of season. That's when you can start dropping points to them, when you've actually got something to play for. But that's good. They're really good at home, Bristol City, as well. You've got to give it to them. Recently, the last few months have been very solid at home. 5th best in division. Their away is what's letting them down a little bit, but I still believe. Portsmouth, just don't cry about it. Your away form's shit. Just accept it. You'll go and win next week at home, whether it is, and you'll be safe. Happy days. Millwall, that striker they've got up front, I think it was a record signing, that Vlahovic, whatever his name is. Ivanovic, some sort of Vic, anyway, some like Serbian fella, I think. Player. Serious player, that guy. I'm liking him. Again, though, they left it too late to get in. Absolute classic. Because Millwall, look at this fixture now. Portsmouth next week at home will go and win. Millwall next week will lose. And it'll just be the never-ending cycle. Moving on, because this just means nothing now. It will be 2 mid-table sides in this time next month. Oxford 1, Sheffield United 0. Probably shock at weekend. I don't think Sheffield United have been helped by the fact that Leeds run at half 12. Because let's not kid ourselves here. Anybody that's thinking, oh, players won't look at something like that. Of course they are. They're checking the phone in changing room before they've kicked off. Sheffield United have seen Leeds drop points and they're thinking, oh my God, this is it. 1 foot back in Premier League. My wages are going to double. Ka-ching! And then they're going to drop points. Well, they don't even drop points. They're going to lose to Oxford. I just knew it. After being really, really impressive against Coventry, they're always going to go and stink gaff out down here. From what I've seen and heard, Sheffield United didn't really create a great deal. The only thing that they did, very late on, I think WREXHAM had a chance and scuffed it because he refused to take it with his weak foot. So I think that's the only big chance that they've missed from what I've seen and heard. Elite man at match, oh, I missed that guy, wow. Bit of graft though from Oxford. I'm loving it. Another one, I believe. It's only 4 points though. That must feel quite scary. You know when you've won 2 out of your last 3 games and you've not even pulled away really from anything. They're all picking points up. I remember saying quite recently, I didn't think it'd be a massive points tally to go down this year. Like Birmingham were 50 that they went down in last year. I didn't think it'd be that high. But when you look at it, especially more recent weeks, you can obviously look at this and think, well, you're probably going to look at about 46, 47-ish points to stay up based on what they're all on at the minute. But the form that all these sides are in, I do think you're probably looking at 50 again. Could Wednesday still go down? You think if they lost everything, maybe 53 could be like, that must be highest ever. If it gets to 53 points on Wednesday, lose every game for the rest of the year. Big win for Oxford though, humongous win, gets them out of a little bit of danger for now. And as for Sheffield United, lucky that Leeds have been as crap as they have in the last month and a half, natural bottle job creeping in, because that's a big 3 points drop. That Sheffield United, I would say, have got quite favourable fixtures going into it. They've only got Burnley away that's left. that I would think is a real serious game that they could lose. But then at the same time, I wouldn't have thought that they'd have lost this. So it's just that stage of season now where anybody's beating anybody because all these sides down here have got something to play for. None of these have. All these have. So you can never really have a serious idea on what's going to happen based on how much a team wants it and who's going to turn up on there. It's an hard league to predict at best of times. This is just getting ridiculous. So top lads this weekend, the only real winner is Burnley because they've gone top at league now. I think it's first time they've been at top without, and it's in their hands even, all season, I think. Well, you know what? Shock at weekend. I think this could be up there as well. Every time I write these off and say that they're definitely going down, then they're going to get a point off Watford away. They beat Portsmouth at their place. I know they lost this derby one, which were big, especially with pulling it back and stuff like that. And then they're going to beat Norwich 2-1. The fact they only conceded one is very impressive, I would think, to a side that's scored 62 all year and have got two at best players in division stood up front. All Plymouth fans were like crying and biting my head off because I don't watch Plymouth every week and I ain't got a massive opinion on Hazard, who's played about 18 games this year. Really sorry. I probably got it wrong. Big bit of graft here to see this out for Plymouth because I imagine it weren't pretty, especially near end in second half. Wait a minute, look, possession and shots here. I get that it don't mean anything and this is the only thing that matters, you know what I mean? I'm a big advocate of that. Stats mean absolutely niche most of the time. And this would have just been, well, we're winning, so we'll see it out sort of thing. Getting Norwich all at ball. And even though they've had 6 shots, they've done very little with it. I would say that's sign of a good defence. Obviously from someone that's not watched the game, because I watch my own team and I only see the highlights of said games, I would say that's good defensive actions from Plymouth. Bloody hell. Norwich, yeah. Season's done. Preston 1, Stoke 1. That was the most nailed on draw I've ever seen in my entire life. QPR Cardiff, more or less same. I think I got the score. I don't know if I went for 1-1 QPR and 0-0 for this. I definitely had a draw for both of them though. Just nailed on in it. Wednesday nil Hull 1. That gave me a little bit of a laugh like later on. You got to remember, like, unless you see Barnsley score, get ready. But I've watched that. So then I see this in like 94th minute or whatever it was. And it did give me a little chuckle on my face. For about 3 seconds, I was like, funny. Then just back to immediate depression. They're so crap at home Wednesday. I do not know what the issue is. I'm not going to even go into like all the little jokes. Oh, they're from Barnsley and all this stuff. I'm not even going to go into it. Why they're so shit at home? Because if they're actually half decent, look at their away form. To be fair, this is very Barnsley, you know, in League One. That's probably where we are. We'll have a look at it when it comes up, but I think that's where we are away. And we're not a million miles off that at home. Humongous win for Hull. Ray Edder and all that, by the way, from that Hughes. I told you we were a good Greaves replacement. Yeah, he's young and he's a little bit raw. Is this Hughes lad from Wigan? But he's a player. And I tell you what, you've got a bargain on your hands there, I'm telling you. However much Greaves went for, he'll go for the same price eventually, I'm telling you. We'll look at table in a minute, but big win for Hull. And they needed it as well because they'd have been down here. And then Swansea 1, Derby 0. I mean, Swansea have got naught to play for now, but in case there were any sort of idea that they could be creeping to bottom, that they might be getting sucked in a little bit, this has just got rid of it. Derby have won 4 in a row before this, on a really good streak of form recently. And like I said, Derby are the only side that have lost out at bottom like 8. All your relegation sides this weekend, Derby only ones that's lost, even though they've took most points out of all of them by a mile in the last like month and a half. But we'll look at table now quickly. And even though Plymouth have won, and I want Plymouth to stay up, I still think it's going to be too much to ask with only 6 games left to pull at the very minimum 4 points on a team above you. Because you've got to think that Derby, with the form that they're on and the run that they've been on recently, and especially from a defensive side of things, have been really good recently, you've got to think they will pull away from it now. So the realistic amount is maybe 6 to get up to Stoke. But then Luton are picking up a lot of points. Cardiff have been much more defensively solid recently and look quite good going forward as well most of the time. It is so tough to call down at bottom of this league. If anybody gets the 3 bang on, I'll be so impressed. Because I know I joke about it, but 52 might be caught up. With the form that these are on recently, that is not a million miles out of question. But realistically, let's just play the odds here. Even if we include Preston in this down at bottom, everybody Wednesday to now at Millwall, these 5 teams are just... I think these are the boys that you want to be playing now in next few weeks because they know they're done. And to be fair, the most read on entire screen, apart from Coventry and West Brom, is Watford, Norwich, definitely Blackburn, and probably Wednesday, and them sort of teams. There's a lot of red in this middle section of the table. West Brom and Coventry, though, 2 losses in a row for both of them. Middlesbrough took advantage of that big time, and so Bristol City, to be fair. Sunderland picking up at right time now. If they can get on a serious run of form heading into playoffs, I might think differently about them. But I still don't think they'll go up. And I'm hoping that at the end of this season, that is what that top three looks like. I want Burnley to win league, Sheffield United second, and Leeds third. Here's hoping. Oh, God. Right, Reading 1, Wickham 0. These were both half-12ers, and we'll look at the Wrexham one mainly, but we'll just address both first. So Wickham and Wrexham are currently second and third, and they have been for the last few weeks. Birmingham have obviously pulled away at top, and then it is Wickham and Wrexham that are fighting it half at second auto spot. Both of these were half-12ers, so I think that's quite good, because like I said about the Sheffield United and Leeds thing, Sheffield United have definitely seen that Leeds score, and it's probably affected them in some sort of way, whereas these two don't know what's happened until the game's done. Reading, no mugs. I think Reading in 6th minute. Reading have been a really, really good side with the amount of shit that's going on. I just hope they actually get to see season out. Let's hope. But Reading have bet Wickham 1-0 and Wrexham have bet Burton 3-0. We'll look at the Wrexham one because there's obviously a lot more that's happened. Burton, again, not a bad side. I know I feel like I bring this up constantly. But last like 15, 20 games, you're looking at a top half side at the very minimum in Burton. So they're not a bad team. They did, though, get a red card in 10th minute. I'm a big, big advocate of blaming ref for absolutely anything. If anything don't go your way, just blame ref. That I love all like that, me. But that is a red card every day at week. Every single day at week, man. His foot is planted with side of his knee. Come on. Especially blaming a team that's doing well. I love that one and all. Getting that card out. Like, oh, these are successful. Wankers. Corrupt. Bribe under desk. Probably Andy under desk and all. But that is a blatant red card. Easily. And then obviously, I mean, you've got to go up against this side that have got the amount of quality that Wrexham have off bench and the amount of experience. It is always going to get you when they start bringing them on in second half. You cannot survive with 10 men for an entire game against a side that's got that much quality coming off bench. I'm definitely not getting me excuses in early. Deserve to win. Burton, though, I wouldn't be that bothered. Bristol Rovers are at worst form anybody's ever been in their entire life. These at side to catch. You're only, 3 points off now with a game in hand. This is nothing. You are, I think Burton are in driving seat here to try and get out. And then we'll look at top at end with Wrexham and Wickham. And I've got a bold statement coming up. Shock. I knew we'd get hammered anyway. Like, I've been seriously riling some Birmingham fans up on Twitter. If you don't follow me on Twitter, mate, you are missing out. I posted Stansfield's non-penalty goals this season. This is when they both scored. So this were at 1-1 going into half-time. Baby man, I'm going to address red card in a minute. And I put like, Keelan's got about 15 non-penalty goals or something this season. Something along them lines. And Stansfield's got, I think he's got 7 or 8. He's actually got 9, but I just thought I'd put it down to 7 to really get him in. And it worked. I love winding people up. It's a great laugh. And obviously, they weren't very happy with that. And then they started posting pictures of Barnsley away end, which is, think, from a Birmingham point of view, right? Because I remember Birmingham coming to ours and bringing like 1,000-ish, roughly. Bearing in mind, this is one of the biggest cities in the entire country. And you'd expect him to sell out constantly regardless. But apparently bad owners only apply to Birmingham and nobody else. Because Birmingham didn't know their owner was some of them lines when they were shied. They were bottom at league at Championship, brought like 1,000 to Barnsley and we bet them. Barnsley are now in the worst place that we've been, factually, since very, very early 2000s. It's at least 20 years since we've been this shit. So obviously, your away followings towards back end of season, when it costs 70 quid just to get into ground in first place when you've played for your training, your ticket, it's not going to be that good, is it? But yeah, anybody that gives it big on attendances, apart from like Leeds or Wednesday, I would say, in Championship, and maybe Sunderland, everybody's attendances, especially away, is going to go down when they're playing absolutely shite, innit? It's the way it is. It's just the way it is, man. Anyway, 3rd minute red card. Never read in a million years. And by the way, Dijavini is a donkey. Like, and I knew we were going to get hammered. I said 5-1 in my predictions. So this is not an excuse because we would have got annihilated anyway. But that is never in a million years a red card. If it had actually touched him, if it was a foul in first place, I'd have said, yeah, 1,000,000% red card. I'm not bothered that Urian's come out and said it's a red. I don't care. Normally, in football, from my perspective, you actually have to touch a person for it to be a foul. But yeah, obviously Birmingham deserve win. And like I said with the Wrexham side of things, especially in the second half, you're going to come a cropper when you're playing a full 90 minutes against a side that's miles better than you at first place. But then the amount of quality that Birmingham have got to come off bench is... It's absurd. They've got an absolute super team. I do actually think lads get it a serious go. Like, I'm not bothered at all by this scoreline. I think they had a real serious go at it, me. And for once, I'm actually quite proud of Barnsley and this squad. Don't get me wrong, it's definitely the worst squad I've ever seen in my entire life by a mile. And as far as I'm concerned, I'd be quite happy seeing about 2 of these players on pitch next year. But I do think they give it a serious go. Keeler done, I want £40 million. And Birmingham, 92 points. I do think they will probably break points record now. Especially with the fixtures coming up. They're not the hardest ever. You'd think they'd breeze to it, really. And we're in 12th in League One with a -7 goal difference. What a year. Holy shit, what a year. Bolton bet Bristol Rovers 1-0. About expected. You'd have probably thought Bolton could have put a little bit more past them, and Bristol Rovers are losing consistently. I feel like Bristol Rovers at this point are just hoping that Burton don't pick loads of points off the rest of the year. Regards to their own game, I feel like Bristol Rovers are relying heavily on people doing them favours against Burton, because Bristol Rovers are shit, and I've said it all year. Bolton won't want to play them in playoffs, I'll just put it that way. Not that we'll be in there. Charlton 2, Lincoln 2. Lincoln were 2-0 up in this game as well. But if that doesn't show you exactly what Nathan Jones is, then I don't know what will. He's just like never say die in it. He will not let it go. Exactly the type of manager that you need in this league if you want to get out. Honestly, he's such a good gaffer at this level for a promoted side. For a side that you'd expect to be up there like Charlton for club size. Not so much the team, because I don't think Charlton's team's even that good. But it's just exactly what you need, man. And I think Lincoln, that just sums them up a little bit this season as well. That they've not got that the edge that you need to be a playoff side. And that's why they're just in middle with like Barnsley. But Charlton, the top 2's gone now. That is down to Wrexham versus Wycombe. But Charlton, again, just don't take your foot off gas. Don't lose all your momentum going into playoffs. And they're my favourites for it. Exeter and Stockport next. A lot of these, like, they all explain themselves, don't they? Like, Exeter are just a mid-table side doing no, like a bottom half team. Stockport have got something to play for big time. But it's just the manner of which they're winning the games recently, Stockport, that I'm very impressed with. They're not scraping past anybody. The battering teams. They're considerably the better team in a lot of the recent fixtures that I've seen from them. They're up to 4th now. Like, I know it's only a point behind Wycombe, but Wycombe have got the game in hand. Stockport might end up somehow catching Wrexham, but it's 7 points. It's not happening. Come on. And it does look like, oh, to be fair, Wycombe might just completely fall off a cliff and Wrexham might piss it with a couple of games to go. But you would imagine this could be a playoff game. Stockport and Charlton. I would not want to call that. Like I just said, I think Charlton are my favourites going into it as long as they keep the form up. But that'd be a serious game that I would really enjoy watching that game. Exeter, I'd just see you next year, lads. That's all I've got to say. Huddersfield 2, Mansfield 1. Let me just look at the table again quickly. The 2 points off Bolton. It's just, they're just too inconsistent, Huddersfield, aren't they? And even though they've won this game, which is the only thing that matters, it's not the most free-flowing, attacking football, beautiful stuff, is it, that you would expect from this side that Huddersfield have got. They have ended up winning against a poor Mansfield side, in fairness. I know they bet us over week, but everybody does. But I don't think they're that good. I feel like they've got a bit of fight about them, which I do like, but I think that stems from Clough in first place, the gaffer. Whereas Huddersfield haven't got that, really. I don't think Huddersfield have got the fate or almost the know-how. Even though they've got a lot of experience in this league, I don't think they've got enough in them from the recent performances and what they're showing to get in there, especially to chase down Bolton at minute, who are definitely going to pick more points up for the rest of the year, and Reading, the amount of shit that Reading have got going on, which might inspire them, to be fair, but they've got so much more fate about them for what I see than that Huddersfield have got. I do think they've left it too late, Huddersfield, and I think they'll be in this league for quite a bit, probably with Reds. I think you're on the same path as us. Huddersfield, you know what? I'm seeing teams in different stages. We're so far in front of everybody else. Huddersfield aren't far behind us. I think Blackburn at one that's going to start following us soon. There's just a stage to follow. The Barnsley. And you'll be joining us, boys, don't we? You know what it is? I'm going to explain it now. You're not like a super team that's got loads of media attention behind you that you can constantly talk about your own as being that shit. Or it's not glaringly obvious because your own had come out and like say that your fans are cocks or something like Wednesday. But Barnsley, Huddersfield, Blackburn, all the zoners are absolute crooks. And only when we keep going like this and this will people know. I'm saying it, lads, though, don't we? Leighton Orient 0, Wigan 0, don't care. Peterborough 0, Northampton 4. That's what I'm talking about. That's what I'm talking about, baby. I've done been waiting for something like this from Northampton. I've been flying this flag all year that these should not be in the position that they are. Northampton going forward should have so many more goals scored than they actually do. It's ridiculous. Especially, by the way, when this bloke's the manager. Like, I expect so many goals. You got Kevin Nolan as your gaffer. Someone who knew it netted with his eyes shut. They should be scoring the amount of goals they are. Oskin's up front. Baller. This guy knows where net is. McGee and the amount of goals he's scored throughout his career from a midfielder that is obscene. Serious experience coming off bench for like Tom Eaves. They should be scoring this amount of goals, especially against a very inexperienced young defence that Peterborough have got. I know they were helped with a red card, by the way, before anybody says it. but they were on the way to winning anyway before this started, even though it were an early red card. 4 points summer expected goals is nuts. That is mental. I think that's more than Birmingham had against us. Like, Peterborough know they're fine anyway, so again, probably like a mid-table, foot off guys who's bothered type of vibe. Northampton, not safe yet, mathematically, and all the sides below them have got games in hand on them that could realistically get in front of him. But I'm so glad that I'm right about this, because Northampton I expect so much more from. Rotherham 2, Blackpool 1. That maybe halts Blackpool's playoff hopes, because they were on a decent bit of form recently, and like I said for a while, I think they're a very good side at Blackpool. Rotherham have turned it on a little bit though. Since stacking Steve Evans, maybe the players can actually be arsed now without fear of being eaten if they do something wrong. I think they've won the last couple of games, Rotherham have. Blackpool, playoffs gone. Probably have a serious crack at it next year though. I would recommend highly just trying to get Niall Ennis on a perm. I don't think Stoke will be that bothered about letting him go. It'd just be his wages that'd be a problem. But with Steve Bruce and a decent core, Blackpool, they might be alright next year. Rotherham I don't think will, regardless of the fact that they've won the last couple of games. I just think that squad's ass. Shrewsbury 0, Cambridge 1. Don't really change much. Shrewsbury down anyway. Like, confirmed basically. I think it might be next weekend that they can actually go down. Southampton at first team mathematically relegated, which isn't surprising. Shrewsbury won't be far behind. Cambridge, it's a good win, but it is just a delay and inevitable because they're just so far behind now. And going into it, the Stevenage Crawley game here, I really thought that Lindsay coming in could have maybe changed something. Like, if anybody were going to do it, it were going to be him. And these 2 wins give me serious hope. With 2 clean sheets and battering Rotherham at their place, then, like I said about the Forwards, with scoring 3 past Peterborough and still losing is nuts. But this were a game where they come into it knowing they basically have to win, because mainly from a Burton point of view, they are so much better, I think, than Crawley are, that you need to win this game, especially with Burton going to Wrexham and stuff like that. That's a game that you can take advantage of. I do think that is nail it coffin for Crawley, that they've got 5 games left now. They're 6 points off Bristol Rovers, but I still think Burton will get in front of them anyway. So you've got to at least get 3 more points than Burton for the rest of this year. I don't think it's happening, unfortunately. I think that bottom 3 is now done. And I do think it'll be Bristol Rovers going down instead of him. But looking at table, we've just addressed all this down at bottom. I think it'll be Burton swapped with Bristol Rovers, and that'll be that. Could see Wigan and all these pulling away from it anyway. I do think it'll be a straight shootout between these 2 as it goes on. Barnsley is shit. Leighton Orient have probably left it too late. Like I said, they got a draw against Wigan at home, 0-0. Before that, they lost to Burton. They've fallen off a little bit too much to probably claw it back. Blackpool, that's halted them as well. Huddersfield, I don't think have got it in them to chase down a Reading or a Bolton. And I would like to see Reading go up. I really would. As long as they exist. I would love to see them go up. But I do think that'll be top 6. Birmingham are obviously going to win league. I think Bolton, Charlton and Stockport are nailed on for playoffs now. They'll not get any higher. And unfortunately with Wickham in recent weeks, the managerial appointment just has not been right, has it? They're not scoring enough goals in the last few weeks at all. And I know they've got a game in hand that can still take them 3 points behind. But Wrexham, with the experience that they've got, and also the fixtures that Wickham have got in the last 4, they've got like Bolton, Charlton, Leighton Orient, Huddersfield. They've got a lot of good sides at end, Wickham. I think Wrexham could have this wrapped up in next couple of weeks. I don't think this is going to be one that goes down to wire like this is, probably at bottom. I think Birmingham are going to win league or get promoted even next game. And then Wrexham, next couple of weeks. I think before end of April, I think Wrexham will be up and that top 2 will be done. But that's that, lads. Absolute pleasure. Love you all. Kiss, thank you for watching. Absolute blast. Talking about Barnsley losing for 40th time this year. Love you all. Kiss, make sure you like us if you do enjoy, please. Love you all. See you in a bit. Bye.
I say I'm a man. Yes, I'm a mucker. I think of me saying as a right good looker. I say up that. Show us the tits.